So
Recording is in progress.
thank you so much. Camera set up here, sorry about that. There, okay. Good. So good day, everyone, wherever you are on this planet. We want to first draw your attention to our disclaimers. A couple of quick announcements before we get started. These sessions are recorded and often live streamed. Please feel free to change your screen name and turn your video off if you do not wish to be identified during the recording. Also, we ask that all attendees, please put your name, organization, if applicable, your best contact information for any upcoming events, and any questions or comments for the presenter in the chat. Also, the information presented on the Prophet Cox Let's Talk, Let's Heal show is for educational purposes only. Information presented, especially when we deal with medical issues, is not intended to serve as a substitute for diagnosis, treatment, or advice from a qualified licensed medical professional. Any treatment choices or protocols that you consider should be discussed with your physician or other licensed medical professional of your choice. Also, please note, in this space, we believe in informed consent. So we welcome you again to the Prophet Cox Let's Talk, Let's Heal show. Today is Tuesday, July the 5th. We start this session every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Time. I am Prophet Anyanwu Cox, and this is a social enterprise in association with the Unity Health Network Node, the Safe Healthy Spaces Kansas LLC. I am Amare International Trauma Recovery Services, the International Institute for Health and Wellness, Reconciliation Ministry Without Walls, Prince Andrew Williams and the Andrew Networks, who puts us, allows us this platform, and Awu Oshunye Runnels and other content experts, which we feature each week. Our topic this week is college sports and scholarships. Again, I am Prophet Anyanwu Cox. I'm a licensed registered nurse with over 40 years of experience specializing in mental health, complementary, alternative, and integrative therapies, addiction, trauma, death and dying, life transition supports. I'm also an ordained minister, holistic practitioner with over 30 years of service and engagement, advocacy, education, and life skills coaching with populations of diverse ages, ethnicities, social, economic backgrounds, and gender in communities primarily across the United States, as well as engaging communities holistically in India, UK, Africa, Jamaica, and Canada. And we begin each week by inviting each of you to take a day to heal this day. Take a day to heal from the lies you've been told and the ones you've told yourself. And we'd like to highlight an ancestor each week. And we have chosen Dr. Maya Angelou. We also, because we believe in having a healthy planet, and as a species on this planet, as being the human species, we have not done a great job. So we begin by affirming a new direction, a beginning, a mindset, a heart to heal planet Earth. And so we have some affirmations that are taken from a work by Queen Afua. It's called, What Would You Do to Heal Planet Earth? And so I will read a list of these affirmations as I read them, or as you read them along with me. You can pick one that that resonates with you and use it in your daily self-care and your prayers for healing the planet. And so it goes, may we collectively heal our planet by healing ourselves one to another. May we spread love, serenity, and wellness to all our planetary sisters and brothers. May we live in alignment with the forces of nature as we harmonize with air, atmosphere, fire, sun, water, oceans, rivers, lakes, and streams, and earth, soil, and plants. Let us collectively tune up our body, mind, and spirit to our highest frequency of well-being. May we end the health disparity that has plagued humanity. May we claim our freedom now from all social, economic, relationship, physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual disease. May we align ourselves in oneness with the natural, bountiful, beautiful tapestry of creation. May we all awake, honor, and respect the healer within, and live a holistic life of health and longevity. May we unify as we purify, ending all war, separation, suffering, and greed that has consumed the earth. May we tap into the natural wisdom of the ages as we heal ourselves, that we may heal planet Earth and the entire world family. We also want to take a moment, it's only like a 2-minute or so video, but this highlights something that the United Nations calls the Sustainable Development Goals, improve life all over the globe. Because of all the threats that we have on this planet, the United Nations has come up with 17 sustainable goals. And in this space, there are several that we target to bring guests in to cover, but and we try to actually be a part of each and every one in one way or another. So let's take a minute and view that.
The United Nations is an organization with goals of peace and sustainable development around the world. Their mission is huge, but we're breaking it down in 2 minutes. 17 sustainable development goals. Let's get to them, cause the more you know. Look, in some corners of the world today, people are living on $1 a day. Hey, that's not how it ought to be. So goal 1, eliminate poverty, and goal 2, root out hunger across the globe. There's 800 million people hungry, if you want to know. Number 3 is health and well-being, and getting people the health care that they need in. Learning in school are the harder goal for. Education opens up minds and doors. Goal number 5 is empower girls and women so they can have the same rights that men are given. Number 6, people need water that's clean. Poor sanitation can spread disease. Carbon-free energy is goal number 7, and how to achieve it is a question that's pressing. But if we put our minds together and work hard, we can find a solution, I'm guessing. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. Now imagine that you work all day for no pay. Economic growth and decent work is goal 8. Goal number 9 is to foster innovation in infrastructure and industrialization. Goal number 10, inequality reduction. 11 is sustainable city construction. 12, well, that's sustainable consumption, so what we use matches up with production. Goal 13 calls for urgent action to combat climate change, cause we know it's happening. 14, protect life under seas. 15, protect life on land. Goal 16 is for peace and justice all over the planet. They're in high demand. And the final goal, number 17, is the critical factor, the heart of the machine. It's the strength in the way we achieve these goals of sustainable development around the globe. Yo, 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it.
Whatever bed we make, we're going to have to lie in it. Killing the results of our previous unfortunate damage has been done to our planet. So we go forth, working on these 17 sustainable goals. This is a chart. And so our program today actually deals with quality education, gender equality, and still it deals with our primary goal that we address in this space is good health and well-being. It deals with that as well as when we have better education, we're better prepared to have decent work and economic growth. And so we join in partnership with those that we bring in this space to be able to get the word out, to do the work that we need to improve life across the globe. So we're prepared to bring on our special guest for today that we're very excited to have. And each week we open with a particular, some video, some songs, some poems, something that addresses a little bit about what our speaker will be, topic they'll be covering. So.
Women are resilient,
unapologetic,
phenomenal, very confident,
resilient,
smart.
Girls are strong.
Strong.
50/50 is a monumental initiative to explore the civil rights journey of women across this cultural landscape. Young women deserve to have an equal playing field. We are in the race to equality.
The spirit, we're gonna shout and everyone is gonna hear it. We're gonna shine, we're gonna outshine the rest. Oh yeah, we'll take on the world and we won't stop until we own it. Cause we're the best and everyone is gonna know it. We want it all, nothing less. We're going hard, we'll be living large. 'Cause when we dream, we're dreaming big. We're taking we ain't never gonna slow down, going full blast. This is our chance, gonna make it count. We're on a roll, we got a plan, we on a mission. We're taking over and we taking no prisoners. We're kicking all the walls down. We're going hard, cause we're going far. Cause when we dream, we're dreaming big. Keeping the faith, the only way you win the fight. Live every day like it's the fight of your life. That's right. You gotta dream big when you're taking it to the limit. Till we win it, till we look behind at the finish line. To the limit, till resistance is gone. We'll keep pushing on.
So today we have Mr. Max Switzer, and he was born in Troop, Texas, graduated from Tabor College in 2015. He has coached various sports since 2015. He coached the boys football for 4 years, men's football, women's football, girls basketball, middle school track. He served as a special education para for 3 years and a special education teacher for a year. Currently, he's head coach Switzer is building a flag football program at Heston College here in Kansas, actually where I also reside. And he's here today to share about his program and available scholarships. Yay. It's always good to get the scholarships. So I will turn it over to you now, Max Switzer, and you can share with us about your program, how our audience can get their young people involved, who qualifies, and I actually have your PowerPoints. And just tell me when you want me to change the screen to the next slide.
Yes, thank you. So yes, I'm Max Switzer, head flag football coach at Heston College. We are currently building for our first season coming in the spring of 23. I'm excited to get that going, and it's been pretty fun so far talking to all the young women that are able to pursue playing football and playing in college, something I didn't think was even possible. You can go ahead and change the next slide, please. So a little bit about the game first. You have 7 players on the field, offense and defense. Everyone is eligible, even the center that snaps the ball. You could do a lot of different types of plays to get everyone involved. And so that's kind of the beauty of flag football, is that it's any and everybody is available to, get the ball, to make plays, to really show what they could do. In order to get the ball carrier down, you have to pull the flag for the person called holding the ball. You have a rusher that's 1 yard off the ball, and there is no time limit for the QB to throw. So if you do not rush the QB, she can sit back there and have all the time in the world to throw the ball. The quarterback can also run, and you have multiple pitch plays off the quarterback doing that, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. There's so much variation that can go into it for offenses and defenses. Next slide, please. So a big thing about flag football, and a big thing I want in my program, is I'm going to teach on these 3 things: the physical side of it, the mental side, and the emotional side. The physical part, you need to be able to run, jump, and you need to be able to move your hips in order to avoid the flags, your flag being pulled. And that's something we're going to work on every day in the fall during our off-season program. We're going to get into the weight room, so they're going to learn how to lift weights if they have already. They're going to work on a lot of explosion type workouts. So there's going to be squats, there's going to be deadlift. We'll do a lot of jumping exercises. So we'll do box jumps, we'll do jumping on the ladders, we'll do a lot of leapfrog, have a little fun with it, leapfrog and broad jump, and work on those type of movements that can really help get their legs moving, get them building on that strength and that power and that explosion in their legs, and also gain some flexibility in there too. For the mental side of it, you're going to learn how to compete in a healthy way. There's a lot of times that, not only with women, but with men also, so myself, that we get so competitive. And we'll try to do everything we can to win. And sometimes some people start cheating to do that. We see that all across professional sports. You hear so many times that, people are cheating. Like, you have the New England Patriots, for example, with their Spygate, the Deflategate and stuff like that. So I'm gonna teach them how to be competitive and want to win, but do it in a healthy way where, yes, I won the game, but we're also going to keep encouraging each other, and we're going to keep building each other up. I'm not going to tear you down just because I won. I'm going to help you come with me. So that's the biggest thing I want to teach there. And then for the emotional side of it is to not really push your emotions aside, but to channel those emotions where they work for you. You know, if you end up getting angry because you missed a play, you end up getting angry because something happens in a game, learn how to channel that emotion and learn how to use that to help drive you to being more competitive on the field instead of just losing your mind and cheating and doing things the wrong way. And I feel like you could take that into life as well. There's a lot of things that I know I'm working on myself that I'm learning to, you know, use emotions for me instead of against me. You know, because you can get angry, you can get mad, you can get sad and kind of just shut down. And so using that to help motivate you and help keep you going. Next slide, please. So a little bit about Heston College. We are located in Heston, Kansas. It's a small town. We probably have around 3,000 people in the town. And that's kind of the beauty of it. I know the town really embraces Heston College, and we put on some events, like some town events, and it's usually here at the college. I know the school or the town really backs the college, and they love it when kids are on campus. I know I go around town now during the summertime, and they miss all the kids there, and they miss the atmosphere that the kids bring when school's in session. We are a 2-year private college, so it makes it a little bit different than a lot of the other 2-year schools, because we are private, so we are Christian based. We are Mennonite school, and we also hold ourselves at a higher education level too. With that, when you come to Heston, you don't just come to the school to have an easy way, to have an easy classes where you just pass your classes and move on. We're here to really build your education and help you move on to the other school, but in a way that as soon as you go to the other school, you're at the same level. You've been doing this for 2 years now, and it's like you're just rolling through instead of things getting harder. So we really prepare our students and prepare our women for that next jump, and to make it as easy as possible. With that, as you can see, we have about 400 students on campus and a 9-to-1 student professor ratio. That allows us to have that personalized learning and to have almost a strong community feel on campus. When you have a 9-to-1 student ratio, you can ask those questions you don't normally get to ask in these big colleges where there's maybe 100 students, 125 students in the classroom, and it was like an auditorium. You get to really ask those questions, and the professor will either answer those questions there, or they will be able to talk to you after class and answer those questions for you. I know I touched the strong community part. The town, again, the town just loves the campus, and the campus loves the town. And the nice thing about being a small campus is that you do get to know everyone. I'm from Troop, Texas. It's a small town. And so coming from Texas to here, it was a nice fit for me to come. And the biggest thing I noticed since working here is that everyone has been doing everything they can to help me. I know whenever I have a question or something's not going right, I can go to someone here on campus and they can give me advice, or they can send me to the right person to help me out. And I really enjoyed that here. And so something that is a little different than other 2-year programs is our 4-year programs. And so those 4-year programs are nursing, aviation, business management, and mechatronic engineering. Nursing is probably our top program. I know every single person, they say 100% of people who went through our nursing program passed their boards to become a nurse. So they were able to get through our program, and then as soon as that, they take their test and they can become a registered nurse and get a job. And I think that is huge, especially for women out there that are, wanting to get in nursing but don't quite know how to get started, and they're not sure if it's going to be a good program. And this allows them to like have a little backing to their name, saying I came from Heston College, one of the top programs in the state. And then hospitals, they see that, and that really brings some weight. So it sets our women up, for men and women, up for as a little advantage going into that field right out of college. All right, next slide, please. So our scholarships, our athletic scholarships range anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000. That's based off of what I see on the film. So when I see film on athletes from other states, that's when I see just how athletic you are. Because I know that here in the state of Kansas, they don't have flag football. So when I'm seeing someone playing their sport, I'll be like, well, she's pretty athletic. I think she'd be a great player for me. Or she may not be that great athlete, but I like her mentality. I like her mentality on the field. I like her mentality off the court or off the field with her teammates. So based off of that, it can range from anywhere from 7 to 10,000. Now, Heston, we have blended scholarships. So you'll get a portion of your scholarship from being an athlete, but then the other portion is from your academics. And so it is very important to have your grades, to be studious in the classroom, and to really work your butt off there too, because that can add another $10,000 to maybe $13,000 added to your scholarship. So, maximize your scholarship there. If you're to get at least a 3.8 in the top 25% in your class, and you get a $10,000 for athletic, you can get $23,000 in scholarships right there just to go to Heston. And that's not including scholarships that you may bring in from yourself. So when you apply for scholarships through your church, when you apply for scholarships through the major you want to go into, and now there are scholarships out there for just being a little different. I think I've seen some scholarships for having red hair, or other small scholarships like that. So anything like that you bring that come from outside will stack, and you'll be able to use that towards your scholarship as well. Please let me know if I'm going too fast.
No, you're doing fine.
Okay. Next slide, please. So the biggest thing I'm going to ingrain in my program is this thing called ACE. It's attitude, it's commitment, and effort. Your attitude, you need to be ready to work. You need to be ready to work every day, and that's on the field, that's a classroom, in your social life. So, on the field, there's going to be times where we're going to be going through our drills, making sure we're getting our hips and our feet right, running our routes correctly, throwing the passes correctly, making the pulls that we need to make. And a lot of times that's the easiest part. I know when I was an athlete, my favorite part was practice, because I'm going to be honest, I was not the greatest student. So going to practice and going to games, that was my favorite part of the day. So working on the field was easy for me. Working in the classroom, that's a whole nother thing. Because you need to be able to do that as well. Because you need to keep a GPA high enough to be able to play and to be able to keep your scholarship. One of my things is, to be able to play, you need to have at least a 3.0, or if you come in under a 3.0, you need to work towards having a 3.0. And so that's that, being able to ready to work when you get to Heston. yes, athletics is great, but I am here to set you up for success later on in life as well. Um, I know if I failed my part as a coach, if you do great here and then you just fall apart after college and things go downhill. Um, so working on the field, we're a classroom, working on your social life. I know there's going to be a lot of times where you can kind of get wrapped up in everything and lose those connections. And everyone knows that, you know, life is about connections. Life is about being able to make those connections. And sometimes the strangest parts. I know I've made connections to the jobs I've had, and I've made a connection here just waiting at the airport, waiting on my flight, which ended up getting canceled. So being able to work on your social life and be able to kind of open up and just at least have conversation with people, because you never know what the other person's going through. And vice versa, the person doesn't know what you're going through. And so it wouldn't be fair for you to kind of shut them off just because they didn't know. And so my next one is commitment. And the biggest thing is know the difference between commitment and routine. I know a lot of times you can kind of get stuck in a rut and a routine and think you're being committed because you're just going to these things, when really you're just walking through the motions and just doing it because you're there. So being committed, putting in the extra work on the field, you know, after practice, getting the extra reps in, getting the extra sprints in, being ready to go for the next game. In the classroom, you know, if you have that question, ask the question. Don't just wait for someone else to ask that question. No, and hope they ask that question. Also, do extra credit. Do extra credit, set yourself up for success. That way, if something happens later in the semester, it's not going to be detrimental to you. So be committed, do the extra there to set yourself up for success. And then for the effort, giving the perfect effort. So that, when you're on the field, that can mean running 100 miles a minute. I need you to sprint through these drills. I need you to really move at a fast pace. Off the field, I need you to chill, and I need your effort to go into your brain. I need you to know what's going on the film, on Chalk Talk. So when we're talking about plays and doing install, and then also that means in the classroom, putting your effort into the classroom. And part of that is also being the committed part and being the attitude part. And all this intertwines with each other to you bringing your ace every single day. One thing I tell my recruits is that I know every day is not going to be perfect. There's going to be days that you struggle. There's going to be days that I struggle. I don't expect myself to be perfect. But the biggest thing we could do is also communicate that. So I want my athlete, I want the player to come up to me like, hey, coach, I'm just not having a good day today. And we're going to talk it out, and we're going to see what it takes for them to either get through this day or to kind of reset. And I know there's going to be some people that they need to work through. They need to get through the funk of today and then get past it. And I'm more than happy to do that for them. And if they need to actually take that day off and say, hey, coach, I'm not in the greatest mood today. I am close to just going off. I need a break. I need a break from everything. And we'll probably do that as well. I know the big thing for me is that if you're not in the right mindset to get to work and be ready to go, you're not only going to hurt yourself, but you're going to hurt your team and everyone around you. So I think it's very important to have that self-care and to be aware, to recognize that, and to recognize and see that, yes, I'm not perfect, but I am going to still try to bring my ace every day. Next slide, please. I think that's the last one. Yeah. So I know I kind of went through it kind of fast. I know next year I'll be able to have some film to be able to show y'all and kind of give you an update of how everything's doing. If you want to reach out to me, there's my Twitter, Instagram, and here's the website for Heston College. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me on those platforms, and I'll answer every question that I can. Are there any questions for me right now?
So I'm going to stop. This is our question, answer, and discussion time. And I guess I wanted to be clear with everyone. You mentioned this is a girl, so the gender-wise, it's only for females?
Yes.
Okay, so it's only for females. And ages, is it, tell me about the age range or?
So the age range, it's your typical college age, anywhere from 17, 18 to 22. I know I have a couple 20-year-olds that are excited to play next year, and I'm excited to have them on the team.
Is it for students only from Kansas? Where do you draw your student population from?
Most of my students have not come from Kansas. I've had a couple, but most of them come from Florida, Vegas. I've talked to a couple out of Panama and Mexico. So really, this is huge. Like, it's national and international going on. So if there's any high school girls or a little bit older that are still looking to get a degree but want to play flag as well, I'm recruiting those women as well.
So you say international, how do they, they connect with you all, or how does that work if they're international and they're interested in playing?
Just off of the Instagram and Twitter that I sent out, or that was on the slide, they can reach me that way. I've had just about everyone reach out to me on social media first, and they could find me with those flag football pages. So that's how they would be able to find me.
And I don't know, but coming from overseas, I guess I can see it easier in this country, but it is possible. So Heston does get international students.
Yes, we do. We have about 32 different nations represented here at Heston.
Oh, good. Very good. You mentioned the RN program. That was very impressive to know. Sometimes people think, well, if you go to school and you have state boards to take, it's like automatic, but it's not. And so I've known a number of students, who spent that tuition. They didn't have scholarships, anything, to go to be a registered nurse. And you're not a registered nurse unless you pass the state boards. I'm a nurse, so I know you have to pass the state boards. Otherwise, the studies are good, a lot of good information, but you cannot practice as a registered nurse without a license. And that's a huge deal. Some of the career colleges, they'll have only like a 40%, if they're lucky, a 60% rate of the student getting their state board. So if Heston has a higher, that is a major, major piece for those going into nursing. Also aviation, of course, the aviation piece is a natural for Kansas, huh? Wichita in particular area.
Yeah, being the air capital of the world.
Yes, with air capital of the world. So if you want to know something about aviation, this would be the place for y'all, particularly.
I do believe we're the only school that offers flag football and aviation.
Yeah, I was impressed to see that. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So other questions for Max, internet, because we have international. I know that Hendrik is from South Africa. And Patrick, where are you from? Patrick, where are you? Are you in Nigeria or? Patrick, can you unmute? Is it Kahoma? Patrick Kahoma, is that how you pronounce your last name? But they're overseas. Oshunye is a closer, she's in Missouri. She has some grandchildren and children. And so, but the age, top age is 22, right?
That is the oldest player I have right now, yes.
Is that the top though that you, oh, he's in Malawi. I should say he's in Malawi. Okay. So, but he hasn't, oh no, you have to unmute yourself. I don't actually unmute you. You have to unmute yourself. Let me see if, I don't think I can do it. Yeah, you have to, Patrick, you'd have to unmute yourself. If you had questions, like if you have young women who are interested in scholarship and flag football, or if they have any abilities, of course, they'd have to, they would have to be, I mean, I don't know the process for getting here internationally, but anyway, it is a way to go and study. So the 4 year, you talked about the 2 year, and so but you do have 4 year programs.
Yes.
Okay.
And so,
So
when
actually,
it
go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. When it comes to sports though, so because we're a 2-year school, you can only play for 2 years if you're enrolled in those 4 year programs. But the beauty is that you keep your scholarship money all 4 years until you graduate. So just because you're not
Yeah.
playing, you keep your money, and you'll use, you can keep your scholarship all the way through to graduate.
Okay, and Prince Andrew, Patrick is saying that the host has everybody muted. Can you unmute Patrick?
Oh, yes, just a moment, please. There are multiple co-hosts, but I'll do that right now. Thank you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think that's
Yes,
what's awesome about Heston and having those 4 year programs, that you won't lose anything going into those. And about our nursing program, it is very difficult to get through, but they're just making sure you are prepared to take those boards and to, be the nurse the best nurse you can be moving on.
well, like I said, yeah, you want to pass those boards. And so, and I worked at a college, a career college that we did. I don't think we had RN program, but we had some other health programs. And you have to, they say it's hard, but it's not, I don't think it's hard so much that there's a precedence that was being set where instructors were teaching to the test. And so they teach to the test, they pass the test, but all they know is what the test said. They don't know the rest of it. Because I did the professional development piece. And when they got to me, even though I was teaching professional development, I'm still a registered nurse. So when I would ask them questions and they didn't know, they didn't know that I knew, because I was already licensed, and I'm still licensed. I'm taking my license to my grave, actually. It took a long time to get it, but not a long time, but anyway, it was the major accomplishment. So Patrick, can you unmute now? I think that Prince Andrew, Prince Andrew has his hand up. Yes, sir?
Yes, yes, I repeatedly asked Patrick to unmute. The problem may be on his side.
Okay. Okay. So Patrick, you can unmute. We don't have any, we're not doing anything on our end. If you had a question, you can also put the question in chat. Do you have a question that you want to ask about? If you have any young women, girls that would be interested in an international journey or have the ability to do something like that and apply for a scholarship for, and it sounds like they have to have at least a 3.0. I would say if you're going overseas, I would try to have a 3.8 or something. I know I thought that 4.0 was the highest, and now I'm talking to young people who have a grade point averages of 4.8, and I thought it went to 4. So when did they get the 0.8 and 5 and all that?
I know there's a lot of classes you can take that are weighted. So if you're on a 4-point scale and you take like AP, like English or AP chemistry, I know it weighs a little bit more. The advice I give students that if you're going to take those classes and you want your GPA to jump up, make sure you're going to get an A in those classes. Because if you get a B or lower, it's not going to do you any good going towards your GPA.
Yeah.
So make sure if you're going to take those classes, make sure you get an A. If you don't think you're going to get an A, take the regular classes and get that A.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good strategy too, because I had a friend years ago, and he would brag. He was taking harder classes than I was taking at one point. And I said, "Good for you. I have a 4.0." And so he took them, and then he wound up with like a 2.5 or something. But I wound up getting some scholarships and allowed me to go further. And then I delved into some more difficult things that I enjoyed. But if I enjoyed them, they were not as difficult. I guess that's the other thing. If I had a passion for them, yeah, some things I thought like on my master's, they say you're only allowed to get 1 C. And I thought, well, that C would be in statistics because I'm not crazy about statistics. But I got an A in statistics, and I love psychology. I got a B in psychology. So, I mean, again, you just never quite know what it is, but it's good to build a grade point average, not just to jump out and take something. We have some other new guests that just came in. Do you want to unmute Regina Silas and Lawrence Bella? We're talking about a scholarship that's available at Heston College in Kansas, Kansas rather. I'm also in Kansas. The story behind this is kind of funny in that we were headed back to Kansas, to Wichita, Kansas, and we were in an airport and they canceled 2 flights, I think, right, Joe Max?
Yes.
And so we're sitting there and I'm there with my family and we're all traveling together and everybody's kind of upset and frustrated because we're canceled. And I noticed that my son, who has some special needs, is having himself a good time. He's not stressing out anything because he's talking to this guy next to him and they're laughing. I'm thinking, do they know they just canceled 2 flights? They canceled the next flight, but they were talking. And so I got curious and I was like, what in the world? And so they were talking about socks and some other things, but to watch him, and I watch my son a lot because he's 35 and he's been through, like you were a para, he had a para, he was in his special ed and all that, but people react to him differently. So to have a stranger, total stranger. So you actually were a good ad. We never know that we're a walking ad for what you believe spiritually, what you do on a professional level. I would say if I had children, well, I do have children, but they're older, but grandchildren, great grands, that yeah, based on your seeing you out of your element in an airport with 2 flights canceled, they had no hotels, they said, we were just there, that you were still laughing and talking with him and he was totally engaged. He was not stressed like we were. So that said volumes to me about who you are and the work that you do.
Thank you.
So can everyone, if we have actually some time left, so if everyone can unmute and introduce yourself, so at least Mr. Switzer can know who you are and who's in this space. We have people who come to the Zoom itself, and then we have those who are on live stream. But if you are, anyone can start, unmute and introduce yourself and let him know who you are. And if you have a question for him while he's here about this whole academic piece and the scholarships and
Can I answer some questions, Patrick?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can I answer these questions for Patrick real quick?
Yes.
So Patrick, our scholarships for flag football is just for the women, just for girls. And that's not to say we don't have other sports too, but for the flag football part, it's just for the women. For the boys, we have soccer, we have basketball, and we have baseball for men. The other sports we have for women is soccer, volleyball, basketball, and softball, also flag football.
Do they all have associated scholarships?
Our scholarships are all about the same, yes.
Okay.
So how many scholarships are offered?
Football. Okay, go ahead.
How many scholarships are offered for a particular course? I'm not quite sure what that means, but we give money for the year. So for our international students, on average, we give about $20,000 in scholarships. So with that, it still costs about $20,000 to come here, and that's part of tuition, room and board, food, and technology. And so for our website, and contact details, it's on that PowerPoint, and I have no problem sharing that PowerPoint.
And I can pull it back up. Can I also throw one thing too? If you come to a place like, and I haven't been to Heston, I've been in Kansas for about 6 years now, but I've been here long enough to know if you're coming from other parts of the world, it would be good to connect with the college. But we have organizations here in town, like I'm a part of the Council of Elders. There are other community groups that are here. We have a Twin City with Ghana, that there are individual not-for-profits that would be good to connect to. I came from Missouri, and when I came from Missouri, before I came, I did a search for certain organizations like Max said, even with churches, sometimes if you have a particular denomination or if you're Muslim, or within, you connect, because this is a Wichita, Heston, the whole area is a small area. So it's like people really are like a small town sort of effect. So you can contact. When I came here, I was able to immediately connect with people. So I didn't have to come in here like for a year or two and not know which way to go. People were able to direct me. So if you have someone that's interested in coming, yeah, connect. And you have my information. Just get in touch with us along with the college so that you can have some other community support if you have a young person that's coming.
And can I touch on one thing about the religion part is that we are the Mennonite, and which is a Christian branch of the Protestant, but that does not mean that we only have Christians on campus. I am open, and we are open to having any and every religion here on campus. One of the biggest things that I go off of when I'm thinking like how I see Christianity and I see other how the school sees Christianity is that we are here to love one another, no matter what your background is, no matter what your religion background is. We are here to love one another and make each other better.
I think that's good. And for those who come periodically to this Prophet Cox show, even if you don't, if you watch it on YouTube or on Facebook, last week we had, was it last week? No, week before last, we had Yvonne Platts or Mayati. Do you know her? Max, she is, but she is Mennonite and she does restorative justice. Both she and Michelle Armster. Do you know her?
Unfortunately, I do not. I would love to get to know both of those people. Yeah,
they're both. So when I told her we had someone from Heston College, she said, "Oh, my people." So she knows they're both Mennonite. Yeah, so they teach me a little bit about it. I had never really heard of it. I see Prince Andrew's hand up. Oh, well, hold on a second, because Regina Silas had hers up and she unmuted already. Go ahead, Regina.
Hi, yes, my name is, I'm sorry. Yes, I unmuted myself. Hi, my name is Regina Salas, and I'm the founder of the JBS Foundation, Inc. The foundation is in honor of my late grandfather. He was a civil rights activist in Miami-Dade County. He was also the president of the Florida Memorial Alumni Association, and he has a scholarship fund at Florida Memorial for political science. And I'm working on a soccer tournament as well internationally for connecting all 4 countries of the African diaspora.
Okay, very nice.
Awesome.
Very nice. So anyone, Lawrence Vila or Prince Andrew, you had your hand up. Was that for you or were you?
Oh yes, just to welcome Max, which you're here. Thank you so much, Max. I'm the Andrew behind Andrew Network. I'm hosting multiple events at the same time. I don't often get a chance to join this. So we want to just welcome you here. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working and networking with you. For Prophet Cox, I'll depend upon you to extend to Max our welcome hand for future events and also other events he might want to share in the upcoming year. Thank you.
Okay, to share about. And so, and Patrick cannot unmute. What about Lawrence Vila? Do you have any questions about the college or the scholarships or? Can you unmute and introduce yourself, Lawrence Vila? Where are you from? Are you there? Lawrence Vila has his hand up. Go ahead and unmute though. You can have the floor. Just unmute your mic.
If you're on a phone, you can star 6, I believe it is, but you've been asked to unmute. The ball's in your court, Lawrence. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, he's not on the phone. So what about Oshunya? You're until Lawrence is able to unmute. Oshunya, can you unmute? Are you been unmute?
Good morning. How is everyone today?
Doing good, doing good.
Well.
Wonderful. So glad to be here. Thank you for such an awesome presentation, Max.
Thank you.
I'm not into sports like that, but I think it's really awesome. And I know it's good for building the team spirit, building self-worth in kids, not just kids, but in people, period, of all ages. And it's also excellent, 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 any sport for exercise. And that's one of the things our society needs a whole lot more. Got to keep it moving no matter what you're doing. If it's sports or exercise, it's good for the heart, it's good for the body and the mind and the spirit. So thank you so much for your contribution today. And thank you, Prophet Cox, and thank you, Andrew of Andrew Networks.
Well, thank you. Also, Patrick did put some information in the chat. Prophet Cox, perhaps you'd like to address that since you're the host here. Can you read Patrick's comment, or would you like me to?
No, go ahead, because you're muffled a little bit. You can go ahead.
Okay. Patrick is from Malawi, and he wants to know if you could please share the presentation, if possible. And he's also saying that he wants to know if the scholarship is open for girls and boys from Malawi too. What will be the requirements then? How many scholarships are offered for a particular course? And if possible, share with us the website and contact details for the scholarship. He does note he's a soccer coach as well. So please, let's collaborate on sports scholarships. And he puts his email address in the chat. Thank you.
Okay, that is good. I'll pull up his information again. And put it up once more. And
I'm
while
not
I'm
quite
doing,
sure how, but I'd be more than happy to share my presentation with anybody. That's totally okay. Patrick, I did write down your email. We can talk about it. I'm also going to send it to our soccer coach, and that way y'all can have that connection there to have your players have the opportunity to get scholarships and be able to play soccer as well.
very, very good. Okay. And can you, because I'm thinking about some of the churches too, because even in this area, you know, that with young people who could benefit from, I'll put it up there again if anyone wanted to take it down, but do you have a flyer? How would I like do you have a flyer that kind of shares that information, and when do they have to have the applications in and the timelines, any of that information?
I do not have a flyer. To get their applications in, it kind of depends on when they're graduating and when they're able to come to college. I know this fall semester, most likely it's too late. So I know you need to apply. You need to make sure you have your passport, your visa. I know that for certain countries that could take a long time. And depending on the country you're from, you'll have to take a English proficiency test. And that kind of lets us know where you're at there. So I know you'll need those 4 things. So this fall semester, unless you have all those things, it's probably too late to apply. If you're going to come in the spring of 23, I would go ahead and start applying now. And then our international admissions will contact you and they'll get you to the right coach as well. Because I know we have a lot of soccer players. I've had flag football recruits that came straight to me. We have it for basketball, baseball. So our international counselors are really good, and they can help walk you along the process the whole way through. And Regina, can you send me your email as well, and I can get you to our soccer coach? Can you put it here in the chat, please?
And Lawrence, you're back and you muted yourself, so you can unmute. We were waiting. Okay, go ahead and unmute, Lawrence. You're back in. We see you. There you go.
Yes, sorry. We have power cut this side. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I joined you late, so I wanted to understand if there's a scholarship or sport, and is any person with disability that is involved or is powered? Yeah, that's from my side. That's not the question I have for now.
Where are you located, Lawrence? What country?
I'm in South Africa.
Okay.
I would like to let everyone know, I'm going to put the link in for a replay of today's event, so you can go back to the beginning at the AHIABGA Network Facebook group and hear from the beginning.
Mhm. Okay, that would be great. That would be great.
So I'm sorry, I think my internet was cutting out. Lawrence, did you have a question?
He said he missed part of the presentation, and then it's internet. They have a lot of problems with internet. That's the only thing about getting on these meetings. And so it got cut, and but he wanted to know something, I think, about qualifications. It did cut out, his cut out a bit for me, so about the qualifications, but that's in the video, and the information that you covered, anything you cover on here is being recorded. And so Prince Andrew Networks is going to make it available so people can review your presentation again. And so anything you want them to know, they'll be able to go there and get it. This is the time to put it right on the recording. And I think you've covered a lot in terms of, and then the people connecting on here. I'm thinking of young people here in town, so maybe we have to see how we can get a flyer or something made, or email or something drafted, because they're right here in town. There's some young people I'm thinking who, even if they started in the 11th grade now, I have a grandchild in 11th grade right now that we want to stay in town. So Prince Andrew has his hand up.
I noticed in the chat, Regina also indicates that there's a scholarship project. I'd just like to invite her to have a presentation in an upcoming event too, if that's accommodates your schedule, Prophet Cox, or we can also provide that opportunity at another day of the week, if not. Thank you.
Well, so Regina, I don't know if you're available, because next Tuesday, I don't have, it's an open. I mean, I kind of had a thought, but I haven't pinned it down. If you have, looks like this is a time, I guess, talking about, and you all are going to connect all across the, we'll have everybody playing soccer. Somebody needs to come up with one for old people though, but so you.
Yes, I'm available next Tuesday. That's fine.
Okay, then I need your bio and your photo, and you can, do you have my email?
No, I don't. Could you please drop it in the chat for me, please?
I shall, and then I will put together. So this is great because the sports piece, the platform is about health and wellness, of course, but it's in mind, body, and spirit. And so this does all, and I know just from watching, even my son, he's done Special Olympics, let me see, and he just loved it. He won so many scholarships. He started off thinking playing bowling once, and when he went there, he got nothing but gutter balls, and he promised not to come back ever to try again in life. And then went back a few months later, and he started getting medals. And so you just never know what's possible until you get out there and do. So that is a wonderful, and then to tie it to education. So it's not necessary just to do sports, but to be able to get the educational piece. I wish he were younger now, because I'd send him right out there to Max. They did so well in that airport. I'm like, I just like, who is this? But because you're suspicious about everybody, especially in airports and stuff. And they're laughing and talking about socks. I'm like, socks? I said, what are you all talking about? They said socks. I mean, like socks, like soccer, and no socks, like on your feet. So, he just had himself a ball there. So anyway.
I had a lot of fun with that too. So I'm glad he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yep, and then I got his card in the airport. It was just really interesting. All right, so we have a lot of stuff going. So that's how this ties in with health, in case someone's, because there is a mental piece, and I'm glad you covered that. That was good for our for the show, for our mission and vision and all that, because it talks about optimal health in mind, body, and spirit. And when you touched on the emotional piece and the attitude and all that ties in terms of and even the physical piece that helps with the emotional piece is really critical. Yes, Prince Andrew.
Well, thank you so much. I'm sharing my screen for the African Coaches League. I happen to be a global advisor, so I'll put the link in the chat as well. So we look forward to finding ways we can work and network with you. I'm here in Los Angeles. We're actually going to be one of the cities that hosts the World Cup coming up in 2026 and the Olympics in 2028 with Special Olympics. So I'm in a position where I can perhaps assist
any outreach here and vice versa. Thank you.
Wow, well, that may be a good connection for you, Max, and also so the Special Olympics. My son's 35 now, but if you have anything that he can be involved in, let me know, because we moved here, but he has not been able to get connected really, because COVID happened too. But he was connected there. They were going all the time to some type of event, and he excelled in just about every sport. I was just shocked. Every sport he was, I thought he couldn't bat a ball, and but his coach, the coach makes such a huge difference. I watched his coach. I wanted to tell her, well, he can't bat, but she got behind him as though she was him. She put her arms around her, took her leg at his back, and like she was teaching his body, pushed his foot forward a certain way. And when she took his arms and had him hold the bat in the way he should hold it, she stepped back, and every time the ball came his way, he hit it. Because all he did was what she should. I mean, and so when you're coaching, it's just huge to be able to know more than just, I'm out here coaching, but you're knowing the mind, body, and spirit in a sense, and being able to get in tune with the player. That's what I observed. So any other questions? Lawrence dropped off again, but he has some information, I think, from the chat. Everybody shared information.
I did share my email in the chat. Now, one thing I will say, even if you don't have any flag football players, but you have women that are interested in it, please reach out to me.
Okay.
Because there's gonna be a lot of players that don't have the experience, and that's okay. As long as they're willing to try something new and get out there, I'm willing to work with them.
Now give me the ages again, because I keep thinking about church. There are always these youth programs. What's the ages?
So for age college, it's 17, 18 to, I have my oldest ones at 22. Okay. And that's not to say I'm capping at 22. That's just the oldest I have right now.
Okay. So then it's for girls. Yeah, because I'm thinking of and some of the church that I went to in Missouri was a pretty good sized church, but even here in Kansas, where I'm at in Wichita, to know that there are and they start with the 2-year level. And sometimes it's good for young people to start at that 2-year level and not just jump into a 4-year college, because they have to get acclimated to that transition from high school to, and you all start you going into schools and talk to them in the schools?
I've done a little bit of that this past spring. I plan on doing a little bit more in the fall next year, to get going into those high schools and talking to kids.
Yeah, because that would give them a good, especially being, and then again, in a small town, it's not that nothing could happen in a small town, but some of these big campuses and stuff can have become nightmares and stuff. So it's a good place to start. All righty then. And so Hendrik, he's in South Africa. You have not, can you unmute and say something to us today? We're always glad to see you, because you come and support us every week. So, and I apologize for the fourth, when I agreed to do every week with Prince Andrew, the fourth Tuesday, I have a commitment that I must be. That's why the fourth Tuesday will forever and a day probably be pre-recorded. So just know that I want people to still show up, because it's live streamed, so it looks like there are people here. But I have to be at that. And but the other three. And if you have a topic that you would like to have covered on that fourth Tuesday, please let me know, and we'll prepare something, get a presentation, get a speaker. Matter of fact, you have a lot of information, Hendrik. If you ever want to do one of those pre-recordings, that would also be good. Anybody, and what Regina would be on next week, Patrick, anyone, because we want to get information out that is interesting and beneficial to those listening, whether they come on here or whether they watch it on the pre-recording on YouTube or Facebook or wherever. We want to get information out that's beneficial to the community on the ground level. Okay, go ahead. I'm quiet now, Hendrik.
Oh, that is not something that happened very often. You've been quiet.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have a talk show. That's
yeah, my name is Heinrich van der Merwe. I'm from South Africa. I'm stationed in Van der Bijl Park. Now, if you look at the map of South Africa, we are in southern Gauteng, and all the heavy industry is around here. Some days our pollution match the pollution in Delhi. So yeah, we can keep a couple of nurses going here in Van der Bijl Park with upper airway congestion and so forth and so forth. But anyway, a good presentation. I like the balanced approach that you guys are propagating, and you know, people are so easily swayed in one direction, and I think for young people it is so important to have a proper balanced approach in their studies. And you know, sometimes you end up with people that thought that they were the world's best athletes, to discover at after school that they are actually more academic orientated. But if somebody don't bring out that passion and aptitude, sometimes it goes astray, and those people don't reach the pinnacle of success in their life. So yes, I think that the approach is amendable and commendable, and if there is any opportunities for young South Africans to participate in the program, I think that we would love to encourage them and take cognizance of what you guys are offering at your college. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And some of the young people from South Africa, especially if they, you know, they're in small towns or rural areas, this Wichita is small. It's like a little country town. And so if Wichita is small, I know Heston's got to be really, really like, so they'll feel at home. Yeah, they'll feel at home. Yes, Prince Andrew.
Well, I wanted to bring everyone's attention to the fact that even though we're reaching a worldwide audience, and this is kind of specific to Kansas, that people from those countries are, in fact, here in the United States. Many of them actually may be in Kansas. So I'd like to ask our audience to ask their networks worldwide that are within reach to connect with us. The whole idea of the African diaspora, as I'm sure Heinrich will agree, is that we're connected worldwide. So I'm here in Los Angeles. I'm at the meeting place of the world. So I'm looking forward to being able to connect together those people from countries from around the world that I meet through these networks like this to actually involve themselves locally. So for you, Max, I'd like to ask you to be aware and alert that you have people that can reach out to you from around the world that are on this call right now today. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I do the best I can to reply to any and everybody too. I will say I've had, you know, a pretty bad memory, especially how busy I get. So if I don't reach out to you, almost immediately, please reach back out. Don't be afraid to send 2 or 3 emails to me if I don't reach back out, because I could get wrapped up in something I'm doing. So don't be shy. Please reach out.
And, you know, I used to kind of have a problem, and it's a bit of an attitude when people didn't respond. And I had someone I called yesterday, they texted me or emailed me a week ago, and I thought, who do I need? Who haven't I reached out, responded to? So I get it, you know, it happens. I never thought it would happen to me, but I got to the point I was so busy that by the time I got everything wrapped up, I finally was able to get back to them. So it's understandable. And it is an international platform. I think it's just exciting. There are people here in the country who could come. There are people right here in Wichita, I'm sure, who could come over there. But also, you know, there may be young people who like sports, and this may be in South Africa or Ghana or another place. And we have sister city here with Ghana, and from you know, you never know, Sierra Leone or whatever, that they may be the one. We think it's down the street, and it may be someone over, you know, in Asia or any place else, but they can come and still go there and have that international experience. So we just don't know. So it's good to have you here. Joshua, you just came in. We're talking about college and sports and scholarships. We're going to wrap up shortly. You have a question. I don't know if you're aware of the topic, but we have the head coach from but it's for the women's football, not football, but flag football. And he talked about the academics and he talked about the available scholarships and that is open on an international level. And in the chat, there's also a link to the entire presentation that he did and his contact information. So that may bring you up to speed. You there, Joshua?
Yes, I can hear you, but since I'm just joining, I can't get the link in the chat. So if you can kindly reshare the link in the chat, that would be very helpful. I was trying to join the meeting at a late hour, but I was having some poor cellular network. So thank you so much. I would love to go through the links and catch up on what I've missed.
Okay, and you're located where?
I am in Ghana.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking so. Yeah, so it is an international program, which means, but he talked, but yeah, look at the link because he talks about what it would take to get connected and get here to go to college. There's a 2-year college program and a 4-year. They have scholarships for different, of course, grade point averages and stuff. And so, and I'm sure you know young women there. The scholarship he was talking about today is specifically for young women. However, they do have other sports at the college and scholarships for those as well. So, but the link is in the chat. Do you see that?
Yeah. I just got the link. So if it's for just 2, that means I will not be able to apply for it. I would have to share it with some other people. So thank you so much.
You would need to share that one, but if you get in touch with him, he can let you know what else is available because he mentioned that they have programs for men and women. It's just that he's here today to talk about the women and the women being like 17 to 22 or whatever around this program that he's doing, but there are other opportunities.
Okay, that's great. The link I'm seeing, it's a Facebook link showing the video. I don't know if that's the link for today's meeting.
Yes, it is. And underneath, I put Max's email contact as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, very good. So if there's nothing else, so everyone has each other's information and can connect and let's get folks off to college. And I say again to everyone, I put, Joshua, I think you have my email. So if someone is coming to Kansas to go to school, please have them reach out, contact me. And if you're in this area, Wichita area, even if you're not, you know, I was in Missouri for 25 years. Even if I'm not, we may be able to connect whoever comes with some other community groups who would be able to be some additional support for them.
All right, that's awesome. I have your email. I think I also have you on WhatsApp. So
Yes.
if there's anything, I'll kindly reach out to you. And also to confirm, the scholarship is fully funded, and will the those granted the scholarship, they will have to pay for their flights, transportation,
Of
and what
course.
other costs?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
But again, reach out to Max because he did cover a little bit of that. That there's sometimes there are ways that people do that because they have a number of students from overseas, and there are different ways that they get some of those other things. So some of it is not like you look to one source and they give everything. It's like when I went to India, somebody gave me my airfare and hotel, somebody else gave me something else, and so when it was said and done, I was that's what I meant to mention before we get off of here, Max. You said something that really jumped out when you said to look for that, there was even a scholarship somewhere you saw for red hair. When I didn't know that when I was in nursing school. I didn't know it when I was in my bachelor's. Didn't know it until I got to my master's level. And I felt kind of like, I don't know, initially I felt a little uncomfortable because I got several scholarships and I thought, where are these scholarships coming from? But they did. So families who have foundations, they give, a lot of them give 5% every year because they're required to, of that in some way. And it could be any number of things. He mentioned red hair scholarship, but like there were two family, like I got Augustus Calloway. I don't know who that is, but somehow they like education. So they put a scholarship in there. And I felt kind of, I don't know if it was guilty, but I got a couple or 2 or 3 scholarships that I wondered about. But when I got to the awards banquet, there was one young woman, every time they called a scholarship, she was getting up. but she had applied, and all you had to do was apply. A friend of mine didn't apply, and so these were like thousands of dollars that they didn't apply for, because they're not all, like I said, don't always look for the one source, because there are these foundations that must give a percentage of their foundation funds every year, and they'll stick them somewhere and they don't get applied for. $1,000, $500. You may say, well, what am I going to do with $500? You can do a lot with 500. So
Every
by the
little bit
time I
counts.
say again,
Every little bit counts.
every little bit counts. So I had my I had a full a scholarship for all my classes and all that. And when they gave me $1,000 over here and $1,000 over there, I said, "What? My books, everything is covered. What do I do with this?" They said, "Don't you need some more money?" I said, "Well, of course." And so it was money that you really, it was one of those do what you want to do with monies. And so, yeah. So I would talk to him, you know, maybe as other counselors, but they can put you in touch with who are those people who donate money to colleges, and the money's just sitting there sometimes because people, my friend never did apply. I couldn't believe it. All you had to do was just put in an application.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So be hopeful. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Prince Andrew, do you have any last?
Thank you for having me on here. It's been pretty awesome listening to everyone, and having everyone be able to have a new option now for their children, for their women to go out and go to college now, you know, because now there's more ways to do that, and there's more ways to pay for college. So thank you for allowing me to share that, and I had a lot of fun today.
Thank you so much for being who you are as a coach. All right.
Well, love to everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
All right. Blessings.
Bye. Bye-bye.